So I've come out today and I've got a few little jobs to do. I'm going to head out as well and go get some tulip bulbs, some daffodils, things like that, maybe some crocuses to add to the fig and olive plot for spring. So be forward thinking now of your next year already. So plant things now, like your garlic, like your overwinter onions, your spring bulbs, get them all in now. Let's go to the shop. What a drama. So I thought I'd come over as well and do a few drone shots showing the plot in autumn, but I managed to film me walking up the path and then the drone shot up in the air, headed over to the valley. I managed to get it, but there's no more drone shots. I can't, my anxiety can't cope with it. It's back to the drawing board. I'm staying on ground. I've also come over because Storm Ciaran is roaring through South Wales and the lower part of England in the next couple of days. But Amelia, thank you so much. She commented last week saying, watch out for that metal sheet there, you know, weight it down and remove it because I don't want it flying through the polytunnel. So I'm definitely going to remove that now. I actually only put it down to stop things from digging into the soil, and I want to put some cardboard down, but I'm going to remove it so it's safe. So the last thing I want is that now. I've mainly come over just to batten down the hatches. I wasn't sure if I'd left the polytunnel open or not. That's the last thing I want, was the back door closed, the front one open, and the wind go in and there's nowhere to go. So I'm just battening down the hatches. Went and got my bulbs, which I'm happy about now, but there's still loads to do here. In the next week or two, I'm definitely getting all the metal raised beds out, filling them. Oh, this list just keeps going on and on and on, but we'll get there.
Give me a reason to get out of bed.
So I bought a pile of tulips and also some like botanicals mixes and also a pile more alliums. Now I absolutely love these alliums. There was loads and loads on the plot last year in spring, so I definitely want them again. And I also bought some allium roseum as well, which is beautiful. Look at that one. So a nice little selection there to add to one of the beds. I also bought some winter hardy white Lisbon spring onions. Now I like to sow some of them in autumn as well in a module tray and then overwinter them, and then there's something that you can plant out in your beds as well. They take a while, so it'd be better if you module tray them up, plant them out in little plugs later on in the season, and then you've got them next to your salads as well. So think ahead. So the white Lisbons have all been sown in modules, and I now need to go and pay my rent because I don't know if it's due on your sites yet, but on ours, rent is due. I know the prices vary, so pop how much yours is and what location you are in the UK or wherever you are in the world, because I'm really curious to find out, you know, how much everyone's paying. I only pay £57.04 for 2 plots. That's including water, toilets, and borrowing tools and things as well. So I think that's pretty much a steal. Now I know your allotment plot price will vary on size and location, but the Grapevine Garden is 152 square meters and the Grapevine Garden is 142 square meters. So the Grapevine Garden's a bit bigger and the fig and olive is obviously a little bit smaller, but they're pretty much around about that size on our site. That's for a full plot, and then obviously a half plot, then they just split one in half and some people share, and you can also get quarter plots as well. But yeah, pop down below, and I'm just curious where you are in the world and how much you pay per year and what it includes. I'd be really interested to see what everyone else is paying. Now, considering there's supposed to be a storm on its way, There's literally nothing. It's calm, it's fair. There's a little few clouds, but that's about it. But it could be the calm before the storm. But I am going to make sure all my tarps are actually weighted down. If you've got anything like plastic on your plots, then when you're having storms, then don't think, oh, it'll be okay. And I always check surrounding plots as well, because they might have forgot something. And then the worst thing you want is it blowing into your polytunnel or smashing your greenhouse, and then you've got to repair it, or you fall out with your plot neighbour because you're annoyed that something has damaged your polytunnel or your greenhouse. So it's better just to have a little look around, tuck it around the side of the shed or something, and we're all happy. So it's actually a new day. Well, it's actually almost a new week. I caught COVID, and after filming the last bit you just seen, I felt so ill, and I just went downhill drastically, and I spent almost 3 or 4 days just in bed and in absolute agony. My muscles were killing, so I've not done anything on the plot. I've come over, I've checked on the chickens. I'm going to plod on a little bit because I just wanted to get some fresh air. I've tested negative now, finally. But what a week. So if I sniffle through this, or I'm not as chirpy as I normally am, I do apologise. And I'm sorry that I won't be getting as many jobs done this week as I usually do. I normally whirl around the plot, but I've come over after the storm and it's not looking too bad. You can see that the rain has battered down on this plot, and you can see that the top layers of all the beds have been washed. And I've come over as well because I want to actually declare the winner of the Swede challenge that I did for this year. And a few of you haven't got back to me with your entrance of your results, so I've had to go on what I've had. I thought about how I'm going to do it, and I thought, do I do a massive collage of everyone? But I think I'm just going to declare the winner and I put all the entrants and things on my Instagram. But I'm absolutely drained. So let's go down and harvest my Swede. I want to weigh that first, because the entrants that come in, I don't think I've won at all, but let's go have a look. So I think this is just a sharp reminder that you just cannot plan for everything. And I planned on I had a good 3 or 4 days off as well, planned for doing all the garden. And then I caught COVID and it knocked me for 6. So, it just proves that you cannot plan the weather, you cannot plan your health, but your health needs to come first at all times. So let's head on down to the Grapevine Garden, harvest my Swede, see who the winner is, and I think you'll be thoroughly surprised. So this is my Swede for my challenge this year. I've had them bigger than this, but I've also had them smaller. Like, I wouldn't want to harvest this and then eat it because it's quite woody now, but for the challenge, let's take it up, let's weigh it, and let's see who the winner is of the Swede Challenge 2023. And yes, it's raining. Now I've got a feeling that the giant Swede that we're missing at the start of spring might be these, because these don't look like my Helena and they don't look like the best of all, so maybe that's the mystery solved. But I was hoping for them to be bigger than this, but we'll see what happens. So it's starting to rain and I've got my Swede here. I brought over scales. I already brought scales over anyway because I actually just weighed for Steve's challenge, the potato challenge on his channel. So I'll take those home as well for some chips. Now let's weigh my Swede. So my Swede turned out to be 2.5 kilos. So let's find out who the winner is. So the winner is Robin over in Chicagoland. So well done, Robin, for winning the Swede Challenge 2023. Your weight came in at as 13 pounds, which is equivalent to about 5.9 kilograms. So well done. I cannot believe it's a staggering amount, and that's a huge Swede. So well done to everyone who entered. It was a bit of fun. I've had pictures sent over from Instagram. I will post them all on Instagram at some point. But I just want to say thank you so much for everyone entering, and it was a bit of fun. And actually Robin was going to be the ones that actually thought she would fail, because she never ever can grow Swede where she lives. So well done, Robin. So due to all the little nibbles that I'm having on these spring cabbages on both sides, I've actually thought about doing something that actually was successful last year. So last year, and I don't know if there's any science behind it, however, I mulched a whole bed with cocoa coir, and do you know what? I planted runner beans in the middle of it in a trellis, and I didn't have one slug attack on it. I don't know whether or not it was just the texture the slugs hated. So I've got some cocoa coir that's been donated to the channel. I'll put it in a future video, but I think I'm going to go through all the beds in this polytunnel. Hopefully that will be a natural deterrent, but it did work for me last year, so let's see if it works again in the polytunnel. Now, one of the next projects to do as well is to add a light switch to the polytunnel. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've got electric all through the shed, outside, and also in the polytunnel. However, they're only controlled individually by each light, so I have to go to each light and turn them off. But I want to be able to walk in, flick a switch, and the lights turn on. But I bought this one because it comes with USB, so I can also charge my phone and things when I'm in here, and also comes with a 12-volt cigarette lighter. Now, the reason I want that in here is because I can plug in my fan in here, one, to cool me down, and two, to aerate this polytunnel in the summer. The solar outside will power the battery, which will then power the fan in here, and hopefully then it'll be free energy again, but it's keeping the polytunnel a little bit more cooler and also blowing that hot air out of the polytunnel. So that's another project that's going to come up in the next week. So I've been donated this old strawberry planter by Ollie, another plot holder. Now it's damaged, you know, it's chipped, but I've seen life in this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty it out and either place it in the bottom of the pond so that wildlife can live in it, or put it on the side of the pond and let frogs and things turn into a bit of a frog hotel and somewhere for shelter if they are visiting the pond, that they can sneak in there out of the way from birds above. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it anyway. So sometimes someone's junk is someone else's treasure. The poor fig tree, it is looking sorry for itself now. All the leaves are turning yellow. They'll all drop off and this will just be some spindly stick for winter. But for next year, hopefully we'll have some more figs. Another job will be to sort out this asparagus bed. It is not looking its best at all. I'm going to put a nice border around it, give it a good mulch over autumn. I've noticed some new shoots are coming up as well. Some new ferns. It must be this weird weather. But I will mulch all through this, weed it, give it a good feed, and then it should be put to bed. Now these should start turning yellow soon, like I mentioned. And once they do, chop them off, put it on top and let it mulch and rot down in. So another job to be done. So I am disappointed and I am kicking myself. I'm probably beating myself up a little bit more than I should be. I like carrying on. I hate being ill, and I'm very rarely ill because I like to carry on. I have a plan in my head and I just don't seem to be getting to that end. And I'm sure a lot of you have felt like that, where you're looking at a project and thinking, when will it end? And I just want all those beds out now. I've got things in here like the onions and extra spring cabbages and kales, and they all want to go outside and I haven't got the beds prepared for them. But I'm just stuck at the moment. I just feel stuck. So I'm sorry if I haven't whizzed around the garden this week and did loads of projects that I actually planned, but due to my health, then that's taken the forefront this week. I'm Danny, and this is the Grapevine Garden.